You can stand up and you can walk front to back 16 feet, and I think that that's a big win, at least for me. And I pay cash for everything. I don't want to be in debt anymore. I've got no rent, no mortgage, no debt, and I'm trying to keep it that way.
Hello everyone and welcome back to our next video. So today we get to talk to Tim. Tim, thanks so much for joining us.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for coming.
All right, excellent, yeah. And so Tim, tell me, what are you living in right now?
This is a 1998 Bluebird school bus. It's 6-window, 24 feet long. Oh. It's got a 6-liter Chevy gas engine in it with a 5-speed.
So Tim, how long have you been on the road total then? Because you had a van first and now the school bus. When did you first hit the road?
It was in, excuse me, it was in 2019, I think May of 2019. And that was my full-time mark. But I've been preparing for it for 2 years prior to that. I think it was probably about 3 years in where I really started to notice how much I had changed as a result on being on the road. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff to shed. I mean, there's a lot. I think one of the more enduring lessons that we learn out here is minimalism. When you learn that you don't need all of this stuff and that it doesn't make you happier, then your priorities change quite quickly. You'll see the bus here in a minute, but it's not very glamorous. It's just a very straight build, and I keep going through my head is, if I want to buy something, it's like, well, is it going to make me happier? Yeah. If it's going to make me more comfortable, great, but is it going to make me happier? And oftentimes the answer is no, so yeah. It's simple.
Well, talking about the simple build, shall we just go take a tour right now?
Yeah, sure.
All right, let's go.
Yeah, like I said, it's pretty simple. I mean, to me, it feels like a little studio, right? But I wanted to make sure that it felt open, and I'd love to say that I planned all of this, but I didn't. We had a limited amount of time. I think my buddy and I had 3 weeks to build this out.
Oh, wow.
And before I had to get it titled as an RV and insured as an RV. So there were various milestones that had to be made before I drove away. And we had about 3 weeks to do that.
That's fast for a build, though.
I think so. So anyway, so this is the kitchen area. It's just a simple bar sink. There is a water pump down here, gray water. And fresh water. My refrigerator used to do a lot of heavy lifting, trying to manage, 7 days in a refrigerator with meats and stuff. But, trying to get 2 weeks out of it, I needed to add a freezer. But the other thing I really wanted was, instead of just the single burner butane stove, which was fine, I wanted something that had 2 burners and an oven. And so this is just a real simple Camp Chef stove. I think they're about $250 or something like that. It is very, very basic. There's no thermostat inside. It's on and it's hot, and then you cook with that. 350 or 400 degrees, it doesn't know.
So can you tell me a little bit about your electrical system?
Sure. I've got 800 watts of solar on the top. I'll have another 4 next year probably, but 800 is plenty for now. And I've got about 400 amp hours of batteries. People are surprised. I run the same 600 watt inverter that I have for about 8 years. It's a Samlex inverter. And it works great. I don't need any more than that. So one of the challenges was the bed, because I think everybody wants to have their bed side to side back here. But I have the old school doors over here that they're not electric. So the only way that I can get in if I lock this bus up is through that back door. So if I've got a bed there, I'm 60 years old, I'm not doing those gymnastics. I still have to hop up here. It's quite a ways. So anyway, the bed's like this. It's just a real simple 2x4 construction. And then with enough room below to be able to, have totes for clothes and whatnot. Yeah, this is all bolted to the wall, bolted down here. And these totes work out real well. They do have a habit of falling out. So there's like these little hooks here. And then all I do is just run a hook from one side to the other. It doesn't need to be tight, just enough for it to stop it from sliding out. I've taken like traffic circles before I had those, and all of these things just fell on the floor. So you learn that lesson pretty quickly. My work area is over here, my desk area, and I don't feel like I'm, claustrophobic at any point. Plus, you can stand up and you can walk front to back 16 feet, and I think that that's a big win, at least for me.
So you say you have a desk. Are you still working on the road, or what do you do?
Yeah, I do primarily video editing. And then I also do website building and maintenance. And I pay cash for everything. I don't want to be in debt anymore. Mm-hmm. So, I've got no rent, no mortgage, no debt, and I'm trying to keep it that way.
I've heard that you do other things as well for the nomadic community.
I'm trying. I mean, much like how I did or Cheaper RV Living, I wanted to make a contribution, and I had a couple of ideas. And so with the help of my campmates, we came up with this concept of having a campsite directory, much like freecampsites.net or iOverlander. But it also has events and classifieds. And so the idea is that you can go to a campsite and you can see what events are in that area. You can see what's for sale in that area, other nomads that might be in the area that are providing services like dog grooming or hair cutting. So you can see all of that stuff contextually. It was like 2020, there were 2 million van lifers, and in 2023, there were 3.2 million.
Wow.
So I think that we've hit, it should have been a maturation point, right? Where we need infrastructure now. And so this was my attempt at trying to provide some infrastructure. And, you know, I've done the best I can so far anyway. There was a couple of things I found out the hard way starting out in this bus because I didn't, you know, have any experience with it. My old Ford got 16 miles to the gallon. This gets 8,
Yeah.
right? And I'm scratching my head thinking, that's a lot of money. So I made the decision, well, let's just make sure I can stay twice as long wherever I go, and it's problem solved, right?
Oh, yeah.
So I added a freezer, which I'll show you here in a second, but otherwise it's just functional. There's nothing really special about it.
Yeah, I like it. I actually really like the curtains that you have as well.
Yeah, I think this was like in the first couple of weeks being on the road. I think I went to descend on Bend and I had like no privacy at all, right? And so I ended up going to a Walmart and just getting that bulk roll of like fleece material.
Hmm.
And this is just a, you know, neodymium magnet here. And I have this little strip that you can buy at like Home Depot, and it's got magnets in the back. So it just pins this to the frame, and then you take this and just flip it up. And like I said, it's not an engineering marvel. It's completely functional. One of these days I'll have proper curtains, but for now this is fine. There's not much out here to talk about, I guess, other than maybe these loops right here. These are all those heavy duty neodymium magnets. And so what I do is I've got my shade cloth, and my shade cloth has grommets, and I've got small carabiners with each grommet. So when I need to hang my shade cloth, I just clip it. But the nice thing is that because these are magnets, I can pull them down and move them to the other side if I need shade on the other side instead of this side.
All right, so everybody always wants to know, what do you use for the restroom?
Why do they want to know that all the time?
I don't know.
I'm puzzled. Yeah, look, I've been through a number of different scenarios, and to me, the best, most simplest, the easiest to deal with has just been the bucket thing, man. I know some people use shavings and all of that stuff with the bucket, but kitty litter, single use. And outside, I've got a 5-gallon bucket with like the gamma lid on it. So I can take all of that stuff, whether it's my stuff or when I had a dog, his stuff, or just cooking stuff that might foul. You wrap it up and throw it in there.
People always ask about keeping clean and, you know, what do you do for showers and things like that?
Well, nothing replaces a shower. I mean, just the therapeutic value of standing under hot water for 15 minutes. There's just no comparison. But for keeping clean, that's almost an entirely different thing. Because in a shower, you're clean in just a few minutes. But this is well, we have options here in camp. This is what I would typically use. So some hot water, some soap. I've got a towel that's for the sort of the soapy part of the cleaning, and then just a rinse rag, and then that's it.
How much do you think you have into this entire project you have as a home?
Kind of tough to say because I've been working on it since the build, but the initial build had 200 amp hours of lithium iron phosphate batteries and 400 watts of solar. So the bus was 4,700. In addition to the 4,700, maybe another 1,800 bucks or something to get started. And like I said, I got deals on the inside from cabinets and stuff. Everybody wants to help somebody building a schoolie, it seems like. So yeah, it wasn't as expensive as you might think.
So do you have any advice for newbies on the road or people about to hit the road?
Yeah, I mean, for those people who have the luxury of being able to plan, because some people don't. So they got to do what they got to do to survive. But if you have the luxury of planning, I think that people have this mistake in their head where it's like, okay, I'm not going to start scaling down my stuff. I'm not going to start preparing until I'm in the position to be able to do so. And it's like, no, just make the decision today. I'm going to be a nomad. So, you know, start going through your silverware, start going through your clothes, and don't push all this stuff until the last second because it's going to be kind of maddening, right? So prepare for it over a year if you can, or 6 months. And what I did was, like in the kitchen, I tried to cook off of one burner, right? And then I would, like, if I pulled a fork out, I'd pull it, and if I used it, I'd put it in a separate container, my spatula. And so by the end of the month, I had only the the utensils that I needed on a day-to-day basis. And my wardrobe was much the same way. Everything that I wore when I took off, it wouldn't be in my chest of drawers, it would be in a separate tote, right? So I knew when I left the road, well, these are the only clothes that I really wear. So that helped me get started without feeling like, oh shoot, I wish I would have brought this. And it also prevented me from bringing too much thinking that I was going to need it. So that's my tip.
Tim, thank you so much for a tour of your simple yet really effective and really cool school bus. I really appreciate it.
That's been a pleasure. It's kind of a little beast, huh?
Yeah, it really is. I love the simplicity. I love the openness of it. That, to me, it gives you so many options because there's so much open space in there.
I think, at least for me, that's the key. I know that some people have built some really priceless pieces of work, right? And I'm just looking for functional, and it feels like home, and that's all I could ask for.
If we wanted to, find out more about some of the projects you're working on or travels, how can we do that?
So my Nomad directory on YouTube in particular. If you're interested in the project, check it out, or of course just go to mynomaddirectory.com. Either one. If you're interested in just sort of follow me personally, then it's YouTube for Tim Untethered.
All right, very good. Well, we'll check that out for sure. Folks out there, what was your favorite part of his school bus and his build? Please let us know in the comments below. If you got anything out of today's video, please give it a big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, share it with friends, and until next time, we'll see you down the road. So long.
Bob Wells also hosts 2 YouTube channels on well-being in the inner life. Find them at the Examine Life Daily and Quote of the Day with Bob and Autumn. Thanks for watching, folks.